Boom for Bo Masco, cornerback out of Rutgers, 5'11", 185-pound. Honorable mention, all Big Ten selection, 2-year starter at Rutgers. He is the latest portal commitment for the Texas Longhorns. He was the very first cornerback offered by Texas in this portal period. So obviously one that they wanted very badly. Brought him in for an official visit early in the week and has committed and signed to play for the University of Texas. Rod Babers, you're a former cornerback yourself, played for the Longhorns, played in the NFL. You've watched some of Bo Masco. What does he bring to the table for the Longhorns?
I mean, as a player, I mean, he's really easy to like when you watch the film. First of all, when I watch film, I try to watch the biggest games that these teams played or these players were involved in. And obviously one of their biggest games was the Ohio State game. And it arguably was his best game of the season. He was their highest graded. It was his highest graded game versus a Power 4 opponent. He was their highest graded defender versus the run. He was their highest graded defender overall versus the pass. He was the second highest graded defender. I mean, he had a great game, 7 tackles, 1 of 3 on targets allowed, 5 yards, 42 passer rating, and he had a forced fumble. So he had a great game. That stood out to me as well because big-time players make big-time plays in big games. But when you go look at his overall profile as a player, you also like the fact that in his time with Mark Orfe, because he also was under Mark Orfe for a while there at Rutgers. When he was there at Rutgers, they played a lot of man coverage. They still did. They played a lot of man coverage last season too. It's one of the things I liked about Rutgers. They in 2024 they were 33% man coverage rate. That was, I think, 32nd in the country, 12th in the Power 4. 2025 they were over 36% man coverage rate. That put them 17th in the FBS. That put them 11th in the Power 4. So they play a lot of man coverage. We've talked about how this secondary is starting to shift a little bit to being a more aggressive, man coverage team. Texas man coverage rate went up this year. I think you'll continue to see the man coverage rate go up with the kind of athletes they have in the secondary. This is a guy that obviously fits that mentality as well. I looked at his high school film, and something that I thought was interesting that didn't necessarily translate as well to the college level, which shows me there's still another level for this young man to hit, was his ball hawking ability. Guys, in high school, last 2 years, junior and senior year, 10 interceptions, 17 PBUs. So he got his hands on a lot of footballs, but at the college level, I think he had 2 interceptions the last 2 years in 16 starts, 8 PBUs, but I think it was more the talent around him. This past season, Rutgers, second least amount of sacks in all of college football. Pass defense overall, he was the best player in that secondary. They were 5th worst in the Big Ten. If you look at their overall total defense, they were 127th in the country. I think the failing of the entire group around him, because I think he shined, but I think it also kind of lowered his ultimate up, his ultimate ceiling as a player. I think at a school like Texas, much better players around him, a high level scheme like Muschamp, you get the best out of a player like Bo Masco.
Jeff Howe, young man, originally played for Mark Orfe at Rutgers. Like Rod explained there, your thoughts on this pickup for the Longhorns?
There's 3 things I like about it, Bobby. One, I'll take an 84.3 season-long coverage grade from Pro Football Focus. You can take Pro Football Focus for wherever you want, but it's better than what we used to have, which was nothing. So I'll take the fact that he graded out really high and graded out, I think he was like a 75 grade in man coverage, a 77.6. Somewhere around there in zone coverage. So he's equally good at playing man and zone. So I like that about him. He's scheme versatile. You go back to his year with Mark Orfe at Rutgers. He logged 180 snaps in the slot. So again, we talk about that Grayson Littleton factor. Is Littleton going to stay at nickel? Is he going to move to corner? It could be a deal, Bobby, where based on the opponent, based on formation, whatever, situationally, Will Muschamp could have several different options at the nickel. So I like that. And then look, you lose Jalen Gilbo. His eligibility has expired. Malik Muhammad's off to the NFL. Those 2 guys played a ton of football at Texas. You're getting a guy that's played 3 seasons in the Big Ten and that's coming to you with almost 1,200 snaps over 3 seasons. So I love the fact that they've got some experience. So yeah, look, Cade Phillips is really talented. And, Kobe Black and Warren Roberson, those guys, Kobe Black was more so in the A&M game, Warren Roberson against Michigan, but both those guys showed some signs. I just like the fact that you've got a guy with high-level experience that could come in and at the very least give you an experienced depth piece.
I think that's really important. Look, we've talked about this portal period in Texas, pushing all their chips to the middle of the table. They're doing that on a number of ways. Some they're going to hit, some they're going to miss. There's no doubt. But Bo Masco, a hit for the Longhorns. He's the first corner that they offered in this period, and certainly one that they picked up. Guys, as we look at that secondary, Jeff, you mentioned Grayson Littleton. You mentioned Cade Phillips. Texas also gets back Jelani McDonald. He is foregoing the NFL draft to return to Texas for his senior year. And then Xavier Filsaime, as well as a couple other safeties, are back as well. Rod and Jeff, what do y'all think of how this makes the Texas secondary look for next year? Do you think this makes it not a positive, but a potential strength of the team? Jeff, I'll start with you.
Yeah, look, I think if it's going to be a strength, that to me is determined by two things, or really three. One, Grayson Littleton continuing to evolve, and where does he spend most of his snaps? Two, I think Jelani McDonald, and look, we talked about the impact Will Muschamp has had in his career working with safeties, and I think it actually ends up benefiting Jelani and it benefits Texas. Look, if he was a corner with the same type of maybe NFL grade that he's got, he's probably gone. Because corners, there's usually that run on corners. They come off the board earlier. And safety is just not treated as a premium position. So Texas is going to get an experienced guy back that can really continue to evolve his game under Will Muschamp. And then, the other guy that I think it's about, man, Cade Phillips, right? I know it seems like we've been talking for years now about Cade Phillips, but he showed you enough late in the year to make you think, at least make me think, man, this guy could be a legit bona fide number one corner in the SEC. So I think if it's a strength, Bobby, I think it's where does Littleton spend most of his snaps? Jelani McDonald continuing to elevate his game, and then Cade Phillips staying on that upward trajectory.
Masco enough in the portal for you, Rod? And do you think this makes the secondary a strength? What do you think?
Well, right now you got 4 Power 4 starters, right? You believe right now that are proven in that secondary. You brought up Jelani McDonald, Jeff, and obviously Cade Phillips, the youth movement at the end. Grayson Littleton started all season for you. And then you'll bring in Bo Masco, a guy who started the entire season for Rutgers in 2025 and had, I believe, 4 starts, something like that in 2024, but played a lot of time, over 500 snaps postseason. So you got 4 foundational pieces. You could roll the dice and say, hey, one of these young guys is going to step up. We like the way Kobe Black is trending. We like, way Warren Roberson is trending. Hey, Smoke Matthews may end up being another Cade Phillips by the end of 2026. You could do that, but if I'm Texas, you want to go with proven commodities back there in the secondary overall. So I wouldn't doubt if maybe they go get somebody they think is versatile. You do have guys that can play multiple positions. I mean, Jeff brought up the fact that Masco can play some slot for you. Grayson Littleton can play slot and play corner for you. Depending on how you get your best 5 out there, what you think you need, you could go get, a slot or a safety, or a guy that can play corner and slot for you and then try to mix and match. But looking for a safety right now, I think would be, in my opinion, now that you got Masco, I would go look for a safety, and I would like maybe a Power 4, a proven Power 4 starter. Once again, a guy that's at least for one whole season, you've seen a sample size of him play at the Power 4 level.
I will say that's one thing about almost all of these players that Texas is going after. They're all Power 4 level starters. They're not projecting up a level, essentially, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. All right. We're going to call that for now. Congratulations to Bo Masco. He is your latest Texas Longhorn. For Jeff Howe, Rod Babers, and Matthew Hutchinson, thank you for watching. And by the way, if you want to get more on this and more recruiting information, make sure you check out ontexasfootball.com. That's ontexasfootball.com. We have a special month-long special, $1 for 1 month. Make sure you check out ontexasfootball.com for more news and information about Bo Masco and other players in the portal. We got that thing hot right now with a lot of news and notes. Again, check it out on TexasFootball.com. And one final thing to Bo Masco. Hook 'em horns, buddy.
Hook 'em.